The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip has intensified, resulting in significant loss of life and escalating humanitarian concerns. Welcome to the Echoes of Governance, where we dive deep into the intricate world of politics, policies, and power. Here, we explore the reverberations of decisions made by governments, from historical legacies to contemporary shifts. Through in-depth analysis, thought-provoking discussions, and diverse viewpoints, we aim to uncover how governance shapes societies, impacts daily lives, and drives global change. Join us as we amplify the voices, ideas, and forces that echo through the corridors of power, and explore the political stories that matter most. Recent developments. Israeli airstrikes. Israeli military operations have intensified, with airstrikes targeting various locations within Gaza. In the past 24 hours, at least 70 Palestinians have been killed, including women and children. Notably, 17 individuals lost their lives in strikes on 2 houses in Gaza City. Ceasefire negotiations. Mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and the United States have initiated new ceasefire talks, urging Hamas to agree to a deal before the U.S. presidential transition on January 20th. Hamas has expressed a commitment to reaching an agreement, though the timeline remains uncertain. Humanitarian impact. The United Nations reports that since October 2023, Israeli forces have bombed 27 hospitals and 12 medical centers in Gaza, resulting in the deaths of at least 1,050 healthcare professionals. The destruction of medical facilities has severely hindered access to healthcare for the injured and sick. Human rights concerns. Israel has assisted a former soldier in leaving Brazil following a legal investigation into alleged war crimes in Gaza. This incident has prompted Israel to caution its troops against sharing military activities on social media to avoid international legal repercussions. Humanitarian crisis. The humanitarian situation in Gaza has deteriorated further due to cold weather, with reports of several infants dying from hypothermia. The lack of adequate shelter, clothing, and heating exacerbates the dire living conditions for displaced residents. Casualties. Palestinian death toll. Since the onset of hostilities in October 2023, approximately 45,717 Palestinians have been reported killed. Israeli casualties. The conflict began after a Hamas attack in October 2023, resulting in around 1,200 Israeli deaths and approximately 250 hostages. International response. United Nations. The UN has condemned attacks on medical facilities and personnel, emphasizing the necessity to distinguish between civilian and military targets in conflict zones. International Criminal Court (ICC). The ICC has issued arrest warrants for top Israeli leaders, accusing them of genocide and other war crimes. This development underscores the growing international legal scrutiny of actions taken during the conflict. Current situation. As of January 5, 2025, the conflict shows no signs of abating. Israeli military operations continue, with recent airstrikes killing at least 14 Palestinians in separate attacks within the Gaza Strip. Mediators are striving to broker a ceasefire, but a resolution has yet to be achieved. Humanitarian concerns. The ongoing blockade and destruction of infrastructure have led to a severe humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The cold weather has further exacerbated the situation, with inadequate shelter and resources leading to additional civilian suffering. Cairo, Gaza, January 5. Reuters: Israeli airstrikes killed at least 14 Palestinians in 3 separate attacks in the Gaza Strip on Sunday, taking the weekend death toll to 102, Palestinian medics said, as U.S. and Arab mediators stepped up efforts to conclude a ceasefire deal. Health officials said an Israeli airstrike killed 5 people in a house in the Nuseirat camp in central Gaza, while another airstrike killed 4 others in Jabalia in the northern edge of the enclave, where Israeli forces have been operating for 3 months. Later on Sunday, an Israeli airstrike hit a police station in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza, killing 5 people, medics said. It was not immediately clear if all the dead were policemen. The Israeli military said it struck Hamas militants operating from the humanitarian area in Khan Yunis, and an Islamic Jihad militant who carried out attacks from the humanitarian area in Deir al-Balah. Earlier on Sunday, the health ministry of Hamas-run Gaza said Israeli strikes across the territory had killed at least 88 Palestinians and wounded more than 200 others in the past 24 hours. Israeli military strikes in the Gaza Strip have killed at least 70 people over the last day, Palestinian medics said on Saturday, as mediators launched a new ceasefire push to end the 15-month-old war. At least 17 of those who died were killed in airstrikes on 2 houses in Gaza City, the first of which destroyed the home of the Al-Gola family in the early hours, medics and residents said. At about 2 a.m. we were woken up by the sound of a huge explosion, said Ahmed Ayan, a neighbor, adding that 14 or 15 people had been staying in the house. Most of them are women and children, they are all civilians, there is no one there who shot missiles, or is from the resistance, Ayan told Reuters. People scoured the rubble for any survivors trapped under the debris and medics said several children were among those killed. A few flames and trails of smoke still rose from burning furniture in the ruins hours after the attack. The Israeli military said all those targeted in the strike were involved in terrorist activities, which included exploiting humanitarian aid corridors, and that the strike was carried out at a distance from aid trucks and did not affect the continued entrance of humanitarian aid. Conclusion: the Israel-Gaza conflict continues to inflict heavy casualties and suffering on both sides. Despite international efforts to mediate a ceasefire, hostilities persist, and the humanitarian situation in Gaza remains dire. The international community continues to call for an immediate cessation of violence and adherence to international humanitarian law to protect civilian lives and infrastructure. Dear viewers, remember to subscribe to our and your YouTube channel for more updated echoes around. Drop your comment down. Until next time, stay tuned.